Have you been hopping from jobs to jobs and you don't exactly see the point in it? Or you've had like 5 roles in 3 years and you're still trying to understand what exactly is the point of it? I'm here to help you figure out what the future of work is. If you'd like to know what the future of work looks like and what career nomadism is all about, please grab a cup of coffee, grab some blankets if it's cold in your area, and let's get started. First up, welcome to the channel. My name is Favor. If you're new here, welcome. In this channel, I film about my faith, lifestyle content, and all that good stuff to help you navigate your career journey. A brief background about me before we continue. I studied law. If you're new here, you may just be discovering that. So I'm a lawyer by learning or by studies, and I went further and did an LLM, a master's in law. But currently, I would say I've got 3 years of experience. And of that 3 years of experience, only a handful of months I've been in the legal space. From working in law, I've moved on to work in a commercial role in the tech space, and now I am currently in the energy industry. I can say for free, it's been both thrilling and challenging. What then is career nomadism? I'll start with what traditional ways of working looks like. Traditional career paths typically represent what people know as starting off from a position in an industry, in a company, in a sector, and rising through the ranks until you become a leader, an expert, a director, a CEO, or whatever the highest or the peak is within that space. But somebody like me who studied law, what that would look like would be working in a law firm, starting out as an associate, rising on to a senior associate, rising on to partner, and then someday becoming a managing partner. Career nomadism, as the name connotes, is simply moving horizontally rather than vertically. So a traditional career path would mean you're growing your career vertically, step by step. Whereas career nomadism would mean you're moving across industries, you're moving across sectors, you're moving just all over the place. And why it's a growing trend is because the future of work sort of demands it. As you would see or as you would tell, I'll try to include statistics or links to statistics in the description below. So if you're interested in reading further, please check it out and have a look at it. Loads of people are starting to have squiggly careers because there are loads of transferable skills that are not necessarily depicted in the degrees you study or in the disciplines that you started out your career in. What then have been the major eyes for me since I started my journey as a career nomad? I would say dynamic ways of working across multiple industries. Trust me, it's completely mind-blowing. You work in a different space, maybe in tech for instance, and then you switch over to something completely different like fashion. That breadth of experience is simply mind-blowing because you get to understand and see how different industries and different companies actually work. Continuous learning is another thing I would say has been a major eye for me since I started this nomadism, because you're constantly exposed to a wide range of subjects, and it takes away that monotonous feeling of boredom that usually comes with being stuck in the same career, especially when you're moving across industries. So it's different if you're moving, say, from a firm in tech to another firm in tech. Now imagine if you're moving from tech to something that is completely different. So there's a whole room to learn as much as possible. Another thing I would say that is major eye is fresh ideas. So you're able to bring in fresh ideas. You could even be working in the same company, which I don't exactly recommend, but you could be working in the same company and work in so many different roles. So you could work in HR and then move on to work in finance and then move on to work in, if your company allows that kind of movement. But the goal is to be able to explore a wide range or a wide variety of options and build up yourself. So whenever you're in a new role or you're in your next role, you're able to come up with fresh ideas that might not have particularly come up in any other person's minds because they've only always experienced roles within that. Next thing I would say, which ties closely with the previous point I made is you build a portfolio of experience. You may not exactly see how it makes sense in the moment, but trust me, in the future, it will tie together. And I'm not trying to sound cliche here, but having that portfolio of experience, it's so important, because when you eventually reach the peak of your career, it's those skills that you've been able to build along the way that would count. That I would say is adaptability. With the way the world is going, if there's anything COVID-19 or the pandemic has taught us, is life can get really interesting really quickly. Adaptability is a major skill that you want to have. Tech is evolving really, really quickly at an exponential rate. You don't want to be stuck in a role that you are not able to adapt. That role that you're currently in, I'm sorry to say, in the next couple of years, it might look different or it might not even exist. Are you ready to adapt? Being a career nomad prepares you for those skills. It gives you the flexibility that is already required. So at the barest minimum, you're not caught off guard because you're constantly prepared. I can't but emphasize this. It's easier for me to be a career nomad because I'm kind of at the start of my career. So I must admit it might not be reasonably plausible for everybody to explore this route, especially if you've got a family, you've got children, or you've got people that you're responsible for. I completely understand. So it's what works for you in the final analysis. What then are the challenges, the struggles, the lows, if you like to so describe? I think the major thing I would first say, which I've been making some allusions to in the course of my first description, would be lack of specialization. So whereas you get to see a lot of people who specialize and grow to the peak of their career, what you see with career nomads is they don't particularly have an area of specialization, at least in the meantime. It's difficult to build expertise, real expertise, if you've not spent a significant number of years within a particular role, within a particular space, or a particular industry. So if you're looking out for specialization, this just might not be for you. Another leg to the conversation is, as a career nomad, you're able to explore a wide range of roles, and when you finally figure out one in which you'd like to specialize in, you can go further and do some certifications. You can decide to stay longer in that role. You can decide to build up yourself and actually gain the necessary skills or specialization that you require. So in a sense, you're never really at a loss. The next point that might be a low is difficulty in ascertaining how long is too long to stay in a role, or how short is too short to stay in a role. Unfortunately, I'm just at the start of my career and I'm not in the best position to give you that advice. But from what I've learned from the few things that I've spoken to people is, they say when it's no longer challenging, that might just be a time to move. That might just be a signal that you stayed enough. So I think you need to constantly ask yourself, am I being pushed in this role? Do I feel challenged? Is this making me wake up late in the night to think about the job? Am I feeling pushed in this role? This would help you assess that area. Say is instability. So when you're moving from jobs to jobs, while it's important because you constantly keep learning, you also have to get comfortable with the instability. So one day you're up, one day you're down, today you're on, tomorrow you're off. A whole lot of instability. And if you're someone who does not like instability, if you just like things to be very clear and straightforward, being a career nomad might not be for you. But if you're someone who is comfortable with it, or you don't mind getting comfortable with it, it might be something that you should definitely explore. In all of this, what really helps is having a strong network. Mentors, people who are there and ready, willing to support you. Because if you have a strong network, a family that is really supportive, that would really help you to grow. So whatever role that you're currently at, or whatever position that you're currently at, it's important to have an open mind towards learning. Be willing to learn. There's always something to learn. So I think it's kind of ironic to say that a career nomad would have a bigger picture. The bigger picture might be finally finding out what it is that you like. And that is so important, because then you would have had so many years of exploring so many things, discovering what you do not like and discovering what you would actually like to venture in, rather than getting stuck in one thing from the onset. Whether or not we like it, career nomadism is here to stay. People are starting to embrace squiggly careers, not necessarily the traditional career path. While that is also important, it's also important to explore various options that may be available. People constantly ask me, will you ever return to law? Honestly, I do not know, and I can't say. This I actually know. Right now, I am in my nomadic phase and I am enjoying every bit of it. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you enjoyed this content and you'd like to see more content like this, please hit the subscription button, turn on the notification bell if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.